What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a good day, and I hope you're having a good week as always. I want to talk about a few things, but today, the first thing I'm going to talk about is this protest seemed like a setup to me. I'm going to talk about it, and I was monitoring it over the last few days just in the media. There was something at Huntington Beach that went down a day or two ago, and the whole time it seemed like a setup. It seemed like a trap to make people look horrible, to get both sides to fight, and to smear anybody that tries to fight the lockdowns and group and link them to people they're not linked to. So I'm going to talk about that first, a little skirmish that went down at Huntington Beach and why I think it was a setup. I have proof and news articles. The second thing I want to talk about is, the riots are starting. The George Floyd the George Floyd trial is not even finished yet. And there was some sort of altercation with a female officer of some sort. And I'm going to talk about that and just kind of how the media has set the precedence of, if you get mad over a situation, just go and burn down and destroy your neighborhood, which is horrible. Here on this show and in general, I condemn violence. I am pro First Amendment peaceful protest, but all last year, I don't want to get into it too much because we've talked about it a lot here. But if you can't wake up from the brainwash of what they're doing in the media to people, they told you for 3 months, 4 months, you can't protest, you can't go to your restaurant, you can't go to the gym, you can't see your family, you can't go to Christmas, all this, you can't do anything. You got to social distance. And then they totally justified tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people destroying New York, Los Angeles, Minneapolis. These people are demons. They don't care about anything. They don't care about social distancing. They don't care about their own rules. They don't care about peaceful protests. They were bailing people out of jail as people were destroying businesses. We all saw it happen. If you lived in Los Angeles, you saw it happen. If you lived in Minneapolis, you saw it happen. The media not only didn't care, they tried to cover it up, and then a bunch of celebrities and politicians bailed them out. So these people are horrible, evil, sick people, and I will call them out every day of my life if I have to for the disgusting losers that they are. But of course, riots are starting, and they're never going to stop because this is the world we live in. The media justifies it. They support it. They bail these people out, and then they turn around and hold PSYOP events trying to frame the other side. I'm going to talk about that. Third thing I want to talk about is this article that I've referenced a lot even before the pandemic. It's from 2019. It's about the flu vaccine from Scientific American. I just want to explain how they go through that and why. This is, first of all, I have to say, because I know on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, whatever, Instagram, they want to censor anybody who tells the truth about this topic, and they want to censor anybody who's actually educated on it, which is really, really sick. And I can break down after this video at the third topic why it's sick, because they know. I'll just say it right now. I don't need to beat around a bush. You don't need to see it behind a paywall. I'll just say it right now. The product that I'm not even going to say the word, the product that they are selling to people that they're injecting, which is fine. If you want to get it, knock yourself out. They have no liability. The companies know and the government knows that for this product, they have no liability. So if you have a side effect, if you get injured, if you get hurt, they know that it happens to some people. I'm not saying it's super common. It's usually rare with these type of products, but they know it happens if they do it to enough people. So they're immune from liability. They know they're immune from liability. They know that there's side effects. They know that something happens to a certain amount of people, whether it's a small percent or a larger percent, all of which they'll cover up. The data's all there. We know that with these ones, you can compare, the amount of side effects from these ones to old ones. You could just look at the data. Don't believe me. Go to government websites and read the data for yourself. They know that it's happening. And then the sick part is when you talk about it or report accurately on what happened to you or your family, then they try to take your video down. This is beyond criminal. This is beyond sick. This is beyond evil. And the only reason they get away with it is because everybody just goes along. Everybody just wants to. Someone said Anomaly needs to be silenced. Shut up, dude. You need to shut your mouth. You be silent on my stream. But in general, everybody just goes along with it and think that this is the safe or normal thing to do. It's really not. And in general, as long as you're going to do all this stuff, you need to allow people to tell their story and to have their perspective and to say something honest and accurate about science. Sorry, it's now playing back on my other stream, outside of what they want you to say. But I don't want to overstep it. Real quick, before I get into my live stream, thank you guys for the super chats. I'm going to read them at the end. If you did it early, I apologize. I might miss it. But real quick, before I start my live stream, anybody that ordered a hat or a shirt or a beanie, all the stuff on dreamrare.com, it should be shipping out this week. So it was pre-sale. That's why it took so long. Pre-sale means before the sale. We've produced it, made in the USA. It's in a USA warehouse right now. It's going to be shipped out, and you should get a tracking message later this week. I'm just letting you know I'm getting emails. Where is it? Blah, blah, blah. Tracking, you should get a tracking as soon as it ships out, but it should be later this week. So look out for that. Thank you to everybody who got that on dreamrare.com. First thing I want to talk about is the Huntington Beach situation. So I heard this and I thought to myself, I'm not out making theories all the time, but I'm just like, this sounds like a setup to me because I know about Huntington Beach and the pier, and they do a lot of multiracial anti-lockdown protests. I've been to so many of them at Huntington Beach, and they've been multiracial. You've had more Asians, more Hispanics than white people. Not that it matters. There's not, I hate how the media just turns everybody against white people, but in general, it's been so multiracial. It's not even funny. It's a lot about Trump. It's a lot about, medical freedom. And there's some characters involved in there, but for the most part, it's a good time where people can discuss, speak their mind, protest, and enjoy breathing air outside. So as soon as I saw this new thing in Huntington Beach, people were like, dude, have you heard about the White Lives Matter rally in Huntington Beach? This was like a few days ago. And I'm thinking to myself, I haven't heard a single person promote it, organize it. Like nobody that I know that's involved in right-wing politics or any of this stuff, nobody's talking about it. So I'm thinking to myself, this sounds like a setup. They're like, oh, it's the KKK is putting propaganda all around Newport Beach and Huntington Beach. I'm like, dude, this sounds like a total hoax or a total setup. My Jussie Smollett alarm started ringing, and I'm like, this doesn't sound real to me because, it's not, they try to act like any area that's safe and nice and conservative and clean. Go to Newport, go to Huntington, go to Laguna, go to Orange County, which is conservative, and then go to Los Angeles County. Tell me where you'd rather live. Los Angeles is disgusting. Los Angeles, Santa Monica, Venice, it's all going to shit. I used to live in Hollywood, near the boulevard where actual Hispanic families live, not in the hills with all the rich people. I'm talking where you can't turn your back because there's homeless people and trash everywhere. Tell me where you want to live. They don't talk about Los Angeles. They don't cover how terrible it is there. They don't cover the fact that people are getting robbed and stabbed all the time, even in Beverly Hills now. The whole city's going to shit because of Democrats, because of their policies, because of the fact they can't police, because they just don't care, because they're hypocrites, because they go up on Jimmy Kimmel in his little Freemason building. Google it. Where did Jimmy Kimmel broadcast out of on Hollywood Boulevard? Go look it up. It's a Freemason building. I'm not being ironic or starting a theory. That's literally where they filmed. Check it out. It's interesting. It's right on Hollywood Boulevard. But in general, they're like, oh, we hate all. Dude, look outside your window. Your whole city's going to trash, and these people don't care. So in general, anytime you have something nice, they're like, oh, there's White Lives Matter rallies going on in Dallas, Fort Worth, and Huntington Beach. And I'm like, of course, all the nice area of Dallas. That's Dallas, Fort Worth. That's the part they're keeping clean. Orange County, it's nice. Okay, so let me look at this rally. It sounds fake to me. KKK propaganda flyers sounds pretty fake to me. I know there's bad people out there, but in general, it doesn't seem real. So then I read the article. This is KTLA, and it already happened. And of course, it was a flop. There was one guy who probably was there because the media spit it out. So you had more lefty counter protesters than you even had right-wing people. There was like one guy there who probably heard it on KTLA and was like, oh yeah, those are my people. Like one guy. This is the big problem. One guy. Where's the organizers? Where's all the people who put the White Lives Matter rally? How come none of them showed up except for one guy? Because the whole thing was probably fake. I'm going to read the article from KTLA. It says, authorities have not yet been able to confirm with organizers that the demonstration is definitely taking place. I'm going to read that again. Authorities haven't even been able to confirm with organizers that the demonstration is definitely taking place. So the police were saying, we don't even know if this event's real or not. It said it came after flyers with Ku Klux Klan propaganda were delivered to homes in Huntington Beach, Newport Beach, and Long Beach in recent weeks. Here's the kicker. This is in the KTLA before the event happened. It says, police do not believe the same people are responsible for the flyer and the rally. So they already admitted in the article. They won't tell you that. They put the headline, White Lives Matter, KKK, big rally in Huntington Beach. It's not even real. Somebody probably Jussie hoaxed them and made a bunch of KKK flyers, like somebody that's like self-deprecating and needs to have a whole victim thing going on, sent them all out. The police admitted, we don't even know if this is real, and we don't think the people holding the rally did the flyers. And then this is what NBC News says after it. It says, White Lives Matter rally flops as hardly anyone shows up. The poor turnout underscores how the country's unpopular and disorganized extremist movements have been driven underground. The reason it was unpopular is because it was never real to begin with. You guys put a bunch of fake flyers, or somebody puts up flyers. You say the KKK is in town. There's this big scary event. You guys got to come and save Huntington Beach. And it ends up being a bunch of Black Lives Matter, Antifa, just random left-wing activists. And like one guy came through and just started yelling at everybody and they fought. Is this a big problem? No, it's the media brainwashing both sides of politics. They put this on the headline. They say White Lives Matter. So dozens of Black Lives Matter and dozens of left-wing activists come to Huntington Beach, even though they probably don't even live there. And they're like, where are these people? And no one's there because the media just made up enough. They wanted a new Charlottesville. They need a big tragedy. They need a big racist left and right. Like Charles Barkley said, he said, the politicians, they're dividing us. I think most white and black people are good people, but it's the media and the politicians. Charles Barkley's totally right. That's all they do. So no one shows up. And then this one guy shows up, probably because he heard it on the news and was like, oh, where are my people at? It's like, dude, this is what they do. Malcolm X said the media has the power to make the guilty look innocent and the guilty look innocent look guilty. And that's what they do. They make this non-existent problem in Huntington Beach look like it's the craziest thing ever. And they couldn't even get 2 people to show up because they tried to manifest it all and they flopped on their face and then blamed it on someone else. And then as that's happening, you have riots and looting and all sorts of stuff all over. First of all, Los Angeles, I lived there for 8 years. Anybody who lives there, any liberal, any of these losers who are just drinking soy milk lattes and oat milk lattes. I like oat milk. Don't get me wrong. I love a good hipster coffee. I'm kind of soft in that means. But anyway, it's like, say something about your city. Your whole city's going to shit. Echo Park's going to shit. Hollywood's going to shit. Santa Monica's going to shit. Beverly Hills is going to shit. And you guys don't even seem to care. You love it. They love the shit. When somebody tries to clean up Echo Park, they all throw a fit. They're like, we love our shit. We like the homeless. We like the trash. We like the fact that our kids can't play at the playgrounds anymore. We like the fact that we feel like we're going to be stabbed every 2 seconds. It's like these kids are literal demons. It reminds me of like the Sodom and Gomorrah, Bible story. It's like they revel in filth and degeneracy. And if you try to clean it up, they're like, I love this. It's like, dude, I love Echo Park, but clean the park up, bro. Who would want to raise kids over there? And then it's like Orange County, Huntington Beach. That's what it looks like when you have a town, Huntington Beach, of people. It's not the most wealthy town. There's a lot of working class people there, but they don't hate themselves. They don't hate their country. They don't hate their skin color. They don't hate other people because of their skin color. They don't hate their community. They don't hate the main street. They actually like it. So they actually keep it semi-nice. And it's, walkable and livable. And it's, you have a community and people there. And the liberals hate that. So they have to just put a big event on and try to make it seem like everybody's a racist. And of course, what else is held at the Huntington Pier? It's the anti-lockdown protest. So anytime you have something good going, they're going to try to set you up and they're going to try to make it look bad because that's what they're doing, folks. Closing down businesses, closing down restaurants. You go to Chile or Canada, do you think that's normal that they can't buy groceries in certain areas? They're closing down the grocery stores. Communism, folks. This is no drill. I know you think you're going to wear 5 masks and you're going to cave to the vaccination and they're going to let you go back to normal, but they're even saying you can't go back to normal and it only lasts 6 months, or wait, no, it lasts a year, or wait, no, it protects you, but wait, no, the South Africa variant is going to, it gets through. They don't know what the F they're talking about, guys. Wake up, because this isn't about just that, okay? They're shutting down supermarkets. They're stopping people from traveling. It's the big part. It's the big moment, folks. Come on. I'm like, people that I know what's going on. They're like, I'm just going to get, it's like, no. That's not what's going on. But in general, Huntington Beach, they admitted from the beginning that the flyers were probably not who organized it. They didn't even know if it was real. Nobody showed up except for left-wing protesters and one guy. And the media makes it like it's this huge spectacle to try to destroy Huntington Beach. And I believe they did that to NASCAR. I'm not going to start my own theory, but you have NASCAR. It's an event where, most of the people there are white. Let's just be honest, in NASCAR. And you have the one black driver who's got, like a white father. He's like, Colin Kaepernick. He's like black, he's white, he's whatever he wants to be on the day, whatever's convenient, but whatever. And all of a sudden there's this huge thing where he's got, and then they zoom in on it and it's like a rope pull and they said it's this. It's like, do they just want to demoralize anything that they don't already control? And I'm not talking about racially, I'm talking about liberals. It's like NASCAR conservative. NASCAR, people just drive. We don't care. Just do what you can do. Oh no, we have to just completely destroy you, make everybody here look racist, even though all of these drivers are literally just trying to drive their car. And it's the same thing with Huntington Beach. It's like, okay, there's good and bad people everywhere, but they try to frame everywhere so you can't organize, so you can't protest. And so they turn Orange County into Los Angeles. Orange County's 1,000 times nicer than Los Angeles. It never wants to be Los Angeles. Stay in your crappy county with your shitty lockdown rules where you act like authoritarian tyrants and shut down Tin Horn Flats and shut off people's power and water like psychopaths. Nobody wants that in Orange County, and nobody should want that in their community. And I find it very shocking that when you don't have that type of degeneracy and filth and crime, they somehow just set up an event and lure a bunch of people to it. And it turns out there's 99% liberals there and like one white guy who's like pissed off, and that's the big scoop. Meanwhile, there's riots going on all over the place. They just put a microscope on what they want to destroy when it's nice and safe and somewhat clean, and then just ignore the fact that people are jumping on cars, looting stores, robbing people in broad daylight for their jewelry, about to go completely insane again over the George Floyd trials, and this other event just happened with this like female officer or whatever, and people are going crazy because they've been programmed to think that that's normal. It's okay to do that. You shouldn't see your grandma on Christmas, says the news, but if you just destroy your own neighborhood and like Patrice Cullors and all these other trained Marxists who are really just puppets for higher level Marxists who are using black people for their ethnic agenda. Don't let me get into that. I might, but they're just sitting cozy with their mansions or whatever. Oh man, I mean, yeah, you destroyed Minneapolis, but I got a paycheck. Man, you should look at Act Blue. Look at Google Act Blue. They got $100 million, $200 million, $300 million. They're just raking in money. You're destroying your own neighborhood. You're destroying your community. You're destroying your reputation. You're making people, whatever your politics, whatever your cause is, just making it look terrible. And people are just cashing out. They don't give a crap because the more you destroy, the more they make. And eventually the more they'll take, because it's the same as what they're doing with businesses. Oh, I'm sorry, you went bankrupt because of the lockdown? Oh, well, I'll just buy your property. Oh, I own your business now. Oh, what do you know? Oh, what do you know? You couldn't buy it. Now I own it. That's what they're doing across the whole country. People that are decent, whether they be millionaires or multimillionaires, people who own stuff are losing everything. And the big conglomerates and the big government and the big players, the bankers and people who are connected to like multi-billion dollars, they're just going to come along. China, whoever's got money. It's open season in America. They're killing the people here. They're destroying the economy. They're destroying the free market. And then whoever's got the money just comes in and scoops it up. So you're just a part of that agenda too. Destroy, and then someone else will come back and buy it for cheaper. But long story short, I feel like the Huntington event was a total hoax, a total psyop, and they admitted that in the article. They have to act like something like the KKK that literally no one knows anymore. It's like right wing, literally like there's like 5 people like sitting, watching like internet videos or something. Like it's not this big movement of like millions of people. Meanwhile, you have tens of thousands of people destroying these communities and neighborhoods, and the media doesn't care. They will not stop until they have completely destroyed this country, economically, psychologically, mentally, every which way. These are the most wicked people, and I will never stop calling them out, promise you. The next thing I want to talk about is now that they're scaring the crap out of people with the variant. If you Google, oh, everybody got the Pfizer, and the Moderna and the J&J and the Pfizer, oh, this is so good. You're such a good person. You get it. You get it. You're so good. Everyone loves you. You can go places now. They're going to let you free, except, actually, they're not going to let you free now because even though you got it, they're still limiting you. Fauci says still not to go around. He is a demon. I can't believe no one has held this guy accountable. Shocking, and I'm talking about legally and I'm talking about peacefully, just so they don't, skew this out of proportion. But it's like this dude is such a little lying weasel. Every different day changes his mind. He says, oh, I can't figure out why Texas is, this is the new one. Oh, I can't figure out why Texas is doing so well with the no mask mandate. Just go back to Fauci of 2020. He himself knows why, because he admitted it the beginning of the pandemic. He said masks are actually not, and then they'll say, oh, fact check. These are these stupid people on social media that, oh, fact check. No, it's the masks are good. It's like, I'm just saying, shut up, stupid USA Today worker who works for $15 an hour, who shills for big corporations, who comes on my page that I earned and tries to shut me down. Just shut your mouth, USA Today, Maggie, or whatever their stupid name is, you fact checkers, and let me explain myself before you fact check me. But in general, it's like what I'm saying is, he said that early on. The science of masks and the science of faces and breathing, this hasn't changed astronomically over the last 100 years. So they've already had studies on it. And Fauci knew back in January and February, and he said it on television, they don't actually really mean that much. They might make you feel good, but overall, it's not really doing that much. It might block a droplet, but you could fiddle with it and play. And that's exactly what's happening with the kids when it's black, like it's all dirty and there's all sorts of filth on it, and you just shove it in your kid's face. You think that's healthy? I mean, people are just doing it because you're abusing your children. I mean, wake up, folks. I don't play along like to be edgy. I will not be abused. I will not be bullied. I will not be physically or psychologically or mentally abused. So if I walk in somewhere, a clean, healthy person, and they're trying to put dirty things in my face, I'm like, get out of my face, you demon. Like, do you want my service or you want me to go somewhere else? Stop treating me so terribly. If you have a policy, that's one thing, but it's just giving everybody a reason to treat everyone like shit. Everyone's miserable because they're being psychologically and mentally abused by these psychopaths at the CDC and at the whatever Fauci's industry is or whatever his agency is. It's like now they're scaring people about the variant. So long story short, they told everybody, they scared everybody for a year, like the psychos that they are, and said, we're going to scare you, and then eventually you'll be free, most likely with the vaccine. Everybody gets the vaccine. They cave because people can't stand up for themselves. And then as soon as they get it, now there's articles saying that there's a South African variant that might go through. Oof, man, that South African variant. Let me just go through. I'm not saying COVID is COVID. The flu is the flu. For the fact checkers, I'm not saying they're exactly the same. But here's what I am saying. I'm just gonna educate people on the Scientific American, pretty well respected article. This is from 2019, just so you know how the flu works and flu vaccines work. So if you think this is going to end with a variant or a dose, you're going to be stuck this way forever until you stop playing along. You're going to be stuck this way forever. You think complying is going to end it, or people think complying is going to end it, but it really just keeps it going because they're not going off real science. They're just moving the goalposts, and they're not telling you how certain things work. So I'm just going to read this. Scientific American, 2019. It says, the flu vaccine selection suggests this year's shot may be off the mark. The strains chosen for the Southern Hemisphere vaccine suggest that the Northern Hemisphere one may not provide optimal protection. So they were admitting in 2019 that the flu vaccine probably not going to work that well this year. And I'm going to read why. This is straight off of the Scientific American, not my opinion, not my perspective, Scientific American. It says, twice a year, influenza experts meet at the World Health Organization to pore over surveillance data provided by countries around the world to try and predict which strains are becoming the most dominant. The Northern Hemisphere strain selection meeting is held in late February, and the Southern Hemisphere meeting occurs in late September. So they basically meet at the World Health Organization, according to this article, and they guess which variants are going to be in it, and they try to predict and make the vaccine based off of the variants. So if you know anything about the flu, there's always new variants, and it's always switching. So they admitted in that article, the flu vaccine is probably not going to work that well this year because we're guessing variants and they're changing and we don't know which ones in the north and south, and we're meeting and we're guessing. That's what they do. So they're not telling you how certain things work. If COVID has a bunch of variants, okay, so you're going to live the rest of your life like a slave and a prisoner, and you're going to go to Chile and be stuck there and not be able to access like a car seat for your kid and seeds to grow your own food. Do people not get it yet? They're going to do this forever because that's the science. They're acting like, maybe COVID will go away, but I'm just being honest. I'm not saying it's the flu. The flu has been here for 80, 90 years. They've had the flu vaccine since Jonas Salk, I believed, or Jonas Salk, or, you could Google the history of yourself, but since the 1940s, we've had a flu vaccine. And if you study the flu from the 1940s to 2019, it's never gone away. In fact, you could see it spike, and you could find CNN articles that say we've had some of our worst flu seasons of all times in the 2010s. How is that? We've had a vaccine for 80 years because there's variants and they're guessing and they're trying to figure out this one and that one. And it just doesn't work that well. And then you lock down like a prisoner and they tell you, oh, yeah, it's disappeared. It has nothing to do with the fact that we're paying people more for deaths by COVID. It has nothing to do with the mass testing scheme. It has nothing to do with the fact that we pretty much just stopped treating people with tuberculosis and we've diverted medics and we're killing hundreds of thousands of people. You think I'm exaggerating? Google tuberculosis medics diverted, and you can find out how many people they killed because they're running people in circles around COVID-19 so they don't give a crap about people with tuberculosis anymore, which kills millions of people a year. So people got to figure this stuff out. I don't want to just harp and constantly just be a ranter of sorts. I try to do videos, show people the testing, and I try to be calm, but I'm just being honest as a human being, as a citizen of America, as a person, a free or semi-free person, because it's never going to end until you figure out what game they're playing. They're playing a game that can move whenever it wants. They say to social distance, but if you're at a George Floyd riot, all of a sudden they don't care because, CDC Wolanski, that demon, says the new CDC director, her eyes are bugging out. She's like AOC on bath salts. You know, she's like, oh, racism's actually a bigger problem in the virus world. Like, oh, racism is a systemic disease. Like, not, they're just going to move the goalpost. Then it's going to be, they're going to keep you locked down forever. I'm just going to go through what they're doing outside of all the emotion of left and right and this race and that race. They locked down society, folks. Before I say this, if I were to say 2 years ago, guys, they're going to do a vaccine passport, they're going to lock the country down, and they're going to force you to do all this crazy stuff, people would have said, anomaly, that's a conspiracy theory. That'll never happen. They'll never do vaccine passports. They'll never force people to lock down. They'll never destroy your business. They won't do that. And then 2 years later, these NPCs are like, oh, yeah, no, lockdowns and vaccine passports make sense. You're a conspiracy theorist if you don't agree. It's like 2 years ago, you're a conspiracy theorist if you say it's going to happen, then it happens, and then you're the conspiracy theorist for rejecting what they said would never happen. These people are like robots. They're like, that's why people call them sheep. At a certain point, either you're going to be your own person or you're going to be controlled by somebody who's playing chess. You can't be just walking around unless you want to live this way. I feel good because I don't need all the money in the world. I look at Joy Reid, if you know who she is, from MSNBC. She posts a selfie on Twitter and says, I'm wearing 2 masks, my whole family is, and I'm looking at her, I'm like, there's not enough money in the world to pay me to work. I'm a free man. I went out, I went to a restaurant today, I went to a bar, I went, to the beach, I've gone and bought things. I don't act like her. I don't have to do that. I say, hey, but you need one? I'm good, bro. Thank you. I'm fine. You can't pay me enough, and you can't pay anyone enough to live in hell. They live in hell. 2 masks, they're afraid to see their family, they're afraid to go. It's totally unnecessary. And there's nothing anti-scientific about saying that all of this is totally unnecessary. It's not just totally unnecessary, it's psychologically and mentally and physically damaging. They're making people fatter, they're making people more fearful, more stressed out, destroying social interaction, destroying family cohesion, destroying social gatherings, which is healthy to a certain extent to have a social life. They're killing you. It's like locking society up, shutting down parts of groceries. They did that in America. They're doing it in Canada and Chile and other parts of the country. So, take out the emotions. Guys, this is like everything ever. They're conquering you. They're destroying you. They're going to keep you this way forever. And I just want to say, before I end the live stream, and I'm going to answer a few questions, here's the most devious thing that they're doing, besides the fact that they tell you to get it. They're not quite sure whether it lasts for 6 months, a year, the strain doesn't work. It's because it's not FDA approved yet. It's emergency use authorized. And if you Google FDA approval, you'll find some articles where they admitted over the last couple of years, the FDA approval is not all they say it is anyway. They've been making it easier, and that's mainstream media reporting that. That's not me. That's like, I don't remember exactly if it was CNN or Reuters, but they're all talking about how the FDA approval has gotten more lax recently. But in general, these aren't even FDA approved. So they splat all this stuff on, oh, go get it. But behind closed doors, really what they're like, we got to figure this out because, we don't know how long, like this variant, and they're going as they go along. But the point I'm getting to, because a lot of people see my videos and misconstrue and say, oh, he's anti-vaxxer, he's anti this, he's anti that. He's like, I'm not anti-vaxxer, I'm not anti-vaccine. That's a word that's created to destroy anybody who questions the narrative, when in reality, really what I am is I'm educated. I'm educated on the vaccine industry. I'm educated on the ingredients. I'm educated on the side effects. I'm educated on the fact that the vaccine companies have immunity from side effects. And this is really the part I want people to stick with, because they feel like, going along with it is just the nice and safe thing to do, when in reality, I think people should know why it's so bad that they're censoring people. It's one thing to do what they're doing, but the fact that Facebook, Google, Twitter, mainstream media are actively destroying, censoring, silencing, and deleting. If you get a side effect from this, they will delete your video on Twitter, or they will censor it. There's like people, I know a girl, not from these ones, but another one. This is a true story. I don't really care if they censor me, but they've given her a vax and her arm doesn't work. Her arm is literally, she's vaccine injured for the rest of her life, younger than me. Her arm doesn't work. And she's liberal and she's pro-vaccine, and she's pissed because now everyone's trying to force her to get the these new ones, and they're calling her an anti-vaxxer. She's like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm just skeptical because my arm doesn't work anymore. But if I were to share her story on Twitter and say, hey, this is a real story, they will censor it and say, oh, no, this is misleading. We don't want people to see that. But that's what they tell you to your face. They act like that's not real to your face. But behind closed doors, they're signing deals with the government called the National Childhood Vaccine Injury Act and the PrEP Act and all of these things that ensure that the vaccine manufacturers have no liability and no liability for deaths or side effects. So they know that there's side effects. They know that some people will have adverse reactions. Bill Gates has said it on television. They know it because that's the real science. You want to talk about the science and trust the science? The science is if you force an entire population to eat nuts, some people are going to die and have adverse reaction because some people are allergic to nuts. Everybody's different. People have different immune systems, genetics. So if you force everybody to do something, there are going to be people who have adverse reactions. And it's the same thing with vaccinations. So they know that they have liability themselves. So if you get hurt, you can't talk about it. They won't report it. And they won't even give you any money for it. At least for other programs, you could find government compensation. For the PrEP Act, which is this one, the COVID vaccine, it's nearly impossible to even get compensated for the injury that they know that they caused you. Meanwhile, the media will delete your story if you try to tell your story to the public. This is so sick, so evil, and I will never act like it's okay. I'm not getting it personally, and I think people should know that before they weigh in on it, or at least in general, stop going along with the norm. Even if you get your 2 jabs, it's like, stop treating everybody like this. Stop treating everybody like crap. Stop trying to pressure people into vaccine passports. It's a total control scheme, and they're never going to let you free. It wasn't about the mask. It wasn't about the double mask. It wasn't about the vaccine. It wasn't about shutting down your business. You think there's science that says that your Italian shop needs to go under and everything your ancestors work for needs to be destroyed, but Amazon and Jeff Bezos can work with like 100 employees in an Amazon thing? There's no science that says that. It's not more healthy for them. It's just they don't give a shit about you because they're conquering you, essentially pretty much killing you economically, physically, mentally, psychologically, and in some cases, literally, people getting depressed, people getting fatter, people not being able to access health resources because everything's psychotic now. People overdosing on opioids and pills now, people not able to communicate with their family. What do you think this is doing to the elderly population? Elderly people need to move. If they don't move and they're stuck not moving for a few months, it's horrible. They're killing people, they're hurting people, and they're trying to make people think that if they get this jab that they're just going to go back to more normal. And as soon as they get it, they say there's new variants. They're not sure. It's not FDA approved. It's emergency use authorized. They know damn well they have legal immunity from any sort of injuries or deaths. And then they act like it's not happening, sweep it all under the rug, but they know it's happening. If they really thought there were no injuries and no deaths, they wouldn't have immunity from liability. If you watch a pill commercial, they tell you all the side effects. Hey, this can happen. Why do you think they tell you that with the pill? Because they know that it'll happen in a small percentage of people, and they don't want to be sued. So they tell you that, and they have to tell you that. So if you take the pill and it happens to you, oh, well, they told you. They don't have to tell you anything with the vaccinations. It's not that it doesn't happen. This is what people get misconstrued. Oh, they don't tell me because it's totally fine and it's totally safe. No, they don't tell you because they have legal immunity and from liability. So they don't have to tell you. There's never going to be a commercial. There's never going to be a settlement fund. Maybe you could sue and get a little money. Probably not for these ones. Hey, goodbye, mister. You're just another injured piece of trash on the human conveyor belt, being led to the slaughter. They don't care about you. So people need to think twice before they keep complying, because you comply, thinking it's going to lead you to this destination of being free. But in reality, you're just adding more change to yourself and digging yourself in a deeper hole to the point that we're not going to be able to get out of this stuff. So people can make whatever decision they want, and I know I'm taking a risk saying it this directly, but people need to know how this industry works. People need to know how this government works, and people need to not get bullied into doing this, because you're going to see sooner than later that this is a lot more about a lot other stuff. And I mean, it's pretty clear. You see the gas prices going up. You see the food prices going up. I know they won't tell you on the news because the banks own the news, and people who are in with the bankers are in with the media. It's all one big club, the politicians, the bankers, the media. I mean, there's some bankers that have like direct stakes in certain media companies, but in general, they don't give a shit. So they're going to act like, oh, it's all about George Floyd and, we're any day now, you're going to go back to normal. Meanwhile, they know about inflation and hyperinflation, and you should learn about it because there's a reason that your gas prices and food prices are going up because they printed out trillions of dollars, folks, and locked you in the house like animals. And everybody just put up with it and acts like it's totally normal. People got to wake up. I know a lot of people who watch me understand this, so I don't have to rant in this manner, but it's like that's what happened. Study Germany after World War One. Study Venezuela. Study one of the like 50 countries where they've had inflation and hyperinflation. And that's the part of World War II that they don't tell you. They just say, I was watching something the other day and it said, World War II, Germany started with hate speech. That's what really started, the anti-Semitism was the hate speech. That's what it all started. I'm not saying there wasn't hate speech, but I'm just saying the story is actually a lot bigger than that. And if you don't understand the story, you're going to repeat history. And Gina Carano gets, deleted or whatever, banned or cancel cultured from Star Wars because she expressed concern and was like, this is starting to feel like Germany to me. And they're like, you can't say it. Why can't she say that? How come your liberal beta dude from the Star Wars can call Trump a Nazi? You don't have a problem with that, but she says that all this COVID stuff or all this like left-wing stuff starts to feel like that, then you have a problem with it. But the point I'm trying to get to is World War II did not start with hate speech. That's not how it started. They were in debt. They were hyperinflation. So when your country is desperate, bad things happen. If you can't afford bread and you have to go and have a wheelbarrow in order to get bread, you think that didn't play a role in the rise of Hitler and the what happened in the world? Of course it did. It's like a main part. You can't understand the story unless you understand the part. Well, how did Stalin get to power? Oh, Stalin got to power by hate speech. No, he didn't get to power by hate speech. It's a complex story. This happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. They seized power. It's not like, Stalin said a word that hurt my feelings. And no, that's not how it happened. And that's not how Germany happened. Hyperinflation was one of the biggest keys because if you don't have a starving country, it's not so easy to be an extreme leader. Nobody wants extremism until they can't eat. And then they don't really give a shit anymore because they don't really have that many options. So, and Trump was not that bad, but that's kind of the dynamic here with Trump. That was his whole thing. Not that far, but it was like, I'm going to reverse course. Now, I'm not saying it's going to get to this point, but if you have hyperinflation, the left's getting crazy, the right's getting upset, you're boiling up tensions and it's not healthy. I don't want it to get to that point and no one should, but they don't tell you real history and they don't tell you these parts of history because they're doing them right now. They're doing the same stuff with banking, the same stuff with the media. And essentially, I hope that America is strong enough economically. I hope we are. We're a great country. We have the Federal Reserve. I don't know if they really like us or not. I'm guessing they hate us, but maybe we can balance the books. I'm hoping that we can. I'm hoping that maybe Bitcoin can play a role. Everybody wants to sell me on Bitcoin. I'm an optimistic guy. I'm not, it is what it is. But like you print trillions of dollars, you shut down hundreds of thousands of businesses. You're just printing money with no end date in sight. I would think that inflation's going to come soon. I don't know. I'm no economic genius, but with the gas prices rising and the food prices rising, it's like, duh. So, and they're not talking about it because they don't care. They're whittling you down and things are going to get crazier. And, to top it off, the Chipman guy that Biden put in office apparently had a role in Waco, Texas, where, they had a huge standoff and ended up killing a bunch of children. From what I know, that's not my most understood historical thing. I need to read up more about Waco, but it's like they're just blatantly showing you what they're doing. You're like, this is my guy. We need to do something about guns. We're going to just, destroy your business. And, we're just going to print a lot of money and all the prices are going to go up. But just keep complying because, any day now it's going to end. It's like, I don't think that's how it works. But I've said enough. I want to see what you guys are talking about. God bless you. God bless your family. God bless America. God bless the world. Stay strong. I don't know. I got Muslims who watch, Christians, Jews, atheists, people who don't know what they are, spiritual. It's all love. But if you are a Christian, the Bible says has no fear. And if you're not a Christian, doesn't matter. God bless you too. Don't have any fear. They win when you have fear. And the idea before I end is they tell you that it's a safe bet to just be afraid. It's safe to just have no courage and not be brave. It's safe to just keep going. That's not safe. It's not safe. It's not nice. There is no like shining gold medal at the end if you comply. They're just going to wear you down until you're the next guy to go. So, have no fear and understand there's pros and cons and everything. I'm not telling people you don't have to make a social media about it, but like I always say, stand up for yourself. Don't be afraid to stand up for yourself, because these people are going to keep bullying you, bullying you, bullying you, and they're never going to stop. The more they bully you and the more you give into it, the more they feel like it's okay. So I'm doing my part. Every time I go to the restaurant, I've had good experiences recently. No one's really bothered me. But when someone tries to make me wear a mask to walk 2 steps in outdoors, like I'm already outside, put on a mask, I have a conversation with them. Stop treating people. You're treating me like dirt. You're talking to me like an animal. At least have some respect. Like, it's just giving people an excuse to just be horrible to each other. So on my personal level, in my own life, I just say stop doing that. Just like the one kid in here is like, anomaly, you need to do. It's like, bro, just stop. I don't even know who you are. You're an anonymous Twitter guy, whatever. Or it's like, just stop. Okay, we're having a conversation. We're trying to take a stand for humanity. We're trying to get our freedom back. Like, we don't need that. Okay. We don't need to be bullied. We don't, stand up for yourself, because it's not the safe route. And I think when people break out of that illusion, life is good. I'm living, I don't want to compare, but I'm living a better life than Joy Reid. She might have more money than me, but I'm at the beach. I'm here. I'm enjoying myself. I'm smiling. I'm having a good day. And she's in 2 masks, afraid. She's driving with 2 masks on. It's like, you can't pay me enough. I wouldn't do that for $1 billion. So money can't buy happiness, especially when you're rich for lying to people on MSNBC, lying every day, psychotically, and wearing 2 masks. It's no way to live. So, you don't have to be envious of these people. They're not having fun. Okay. These people at the top, they're psychos. They're not having fun. They're not living a better life than you. It doesn't matter how you could have no money in the bank. If you have a smile on today, I promise you're enjoying your life better than these weirdos. I don't even think they know what they're doing. Like, sometimes I think there's this big scheme, like, oh my God, they're doing this. And obviously that seems true, but at a certain point, it's like, how is this fun for them? This can't, like, wouldn't it just be fun for them to get loaded or, go hang out and be like, I'm the man, I'm a billionaire. It's like, how is it fun to destroy New York City and every nice city? Like, I think these people are like out of their mind. It's like a kid when they're just scribbling all over the place. Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but like, someone has to tell them no. Fauci, dude, he's like all over the place. Like, someone has to sit him in a room and be like, bad Fauci, no more, like, they just need to be told no. And they'll probably be like, I'm sorry, I just got ahead of myself. It's like, dude, you got to stop doing this. All right, read some comments and then I got to take off. I have a friend in town, so I can't stay too long, but I will be doing work. And like I said, to anybody that just came in, if you ordered a hat or a beanie, they will be shipped probably later this week. Pre-sale. I called it a pre-sale because, and I could have been more clear with that, but it's pre-sale. That means before I have it. So we produced them, we're printing them, we're getting them perfect, and they should be shipped out this week. I got in warehouse and stuff, better setup and everything. So it's all coming out. You'll get a tracking order if you ordered one, dreamrare.com. And if you haven't, you can get one there. All right. God's Watching said, at every event, we have to wear shirts that say spread patriotism, and every version of racism cameras campaign us as racism. They'll find a way. They could have you could have an event of, they say beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So I could go at an event, even the Women's March. I don't agree with these people, but I have a good time. I wear my Golden Girls shirt. I talk to liberal chicks. It's a good time. But in general, it's like beauty's in the eyes of the beholder. You could look at when I go to a Trump rally in Arizona, Trump's annoying me, but there were great people. I didn't see any racism. I didn't see anyone acting crazy. I saw like families. Seriously, it was a stand-up crowd at the Arizona Trump rally, just like great people. But like, if you're a dweeb who works for CNN, you walk in there and you're just looking for the one crazy person. You don't want to talk to the Hispanic family with 15 kids who love the country. You don't want to talk to the nice white grandma who's just like, he loves Trump. You look for so beauty's in the eyes. They could find the greatest rally in the world, find one person, or just plant one person there and frame everybody, honestly. But Carl's opinion said, Fauci said there won't be any long-term effects from taking the jab because they have decades of vax history. First mRNA, no decades of history for this one. Yeah, they keep lying. That should be a red flag for people. Listen, I'm not anti-vaccine in the sense of like, if you want to get the flu shot, have you ever heard me tell people not to get the flu shot? I don't care what people do, but now that they've closed down society, now I care, because now you're ruining everything over this shot. But yeah, no, they're lying about FDA approval. They're lying about long-term effects. They have no shame. And maybe it's at the point where they have so much media and so many government politicians sold out that they feel emboldened. Like Pfizer got bopped 10 years ago. Johnson & Johnson's getting bopped now. Part of me, that's my hope for humanity. Part of me thinks Listen, there's good people everywhere. I believe in humanity. People need to come to their senses, like Geet Vanderbosch or whatever his name was. He worked for Bill and Melinda Gates, but he was like, yo, this is not the right weapon for this war, quote unquote. That's what he said. You have people like Naomi Wolf, liberal feminist, worked for Clinton and Gore. She's coming out and stepping up for humanity. We disagree on multiple issues, but she has a soul. So that's our pitch here. We need to pitch to people with a soul. There's people who work at these companies, doctors, nurses, frontline people in these corporations that have souls. And we got to, if you see something and you're a real scientist and you see the data and they're lying, just keep it real. I met with a frontline worker today who was like depressed. She was like, I can't go anywhere. They've said I had COVID 3 times and I never even felt it. She was like, people are lying on the death certificates at my work because you get $70,000+ or whatever for a COVID death. This is what she's telling me. It's just a story. Facebook, calm down, you little sneaks. Like, oh, I work for USA Today. I'm a fact checker. Oh my God, shut up. I hate these people. They're so sick. It's like, you have a whole blog, USA Today. I'm saying that because sometimes they USA Today fact check me on my own things. And I'm like, here's your website. You have millions of views. Everyone loves you. You're so cool. You stay there. Here's USA Today. You post there on USA Today. I'll post here on Anomaly. Okay. And then we'll have to, you don't jump on I don't get to jump over their video and say fact. That's what they do. They're like demons. It's like, get away from me. But anyway, she's telling me that people are lying on the death certificate. She's saying she's miserable because she can't have human interaction. Everyone's treating her like shit. I'm not the strongest person in the world, but I'm pretty mentally strong. And, I don't get bullied. Okay. Not everyone's very strong. Some people are, being bullied. That's why I'm so upset. You never see me upset. Years. Oh, Anomaly changed. Damn right I did. Cause it's time to step up and be a man, and everybody's being, so I'm not going to say it cause kids might be watching. So yeah, I'm not going to watch millions of Americans get bullied. People who don't want to speak up, people who are stuck at their job, who are making just enough to get by, who can't say anything because everybody's yelling at them. So everywhere I go, I let them know, you're not just not bullying me. You have to stop bullying all these other people too, because I'll come back here every other day until you stop treating people like this. So, the amount of people getting bullied, and she was telling me her story, and it just inspires me. I'm like, I'm not going to let these people, I'm not stopping. I'm not going anywhere. So it's sick what they're doing. And I hear story after story after story, and the media suppresses it all. They close it up. They censor it up. And we have to pitch to people with a soul. If you have a soul and you work at any of these industries, just tell the truth. I don't want you to do anything else except do the right thing. Don't do the wrong thing for money. Do the right thing for honor. If people had honor in this country would be great. And that's what I was saying. I don't want to get into my debate. But with Hotep Jesus, he was talking about this. I'm like, bro, honor and courage. And I've been saying that. Like, I get this and that. I get this and that. We could talk about this. You could speculate. You could play devil's advocate. We could do it. I can debate. We can go to debate club, play checkers and chess, and, play word play on our app or whatever with the, the word anagrams and stuff. But at the end of the day, there's not enough honor in this country. There's not enough courage in this country. And for some reason, people think it's okay to be dishonorable, where, it's really not. It's like, that's the problem. Everybody's like, it's like, no, get to the point where you just can't do it anymore. You can't do something that is that profoundly wrong for any amount of money or any amount of power, Let's see. Someone said it's scary in Canada. To my people in Canada, don't be afraid. Have no fear. Be like Chris Scott. You don't have to be exactly like him, but he has no fear. And look how much fun he's having. Chris Sky's having so much fun. He's just going around just saying, no, 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 no. Chris, he's having a blast. Don't have fear. But at the same time, yeah, it's crazy what's going on in Canada and Chile. And they're closing off in certain areas of Canada. They're closing off supermarkets. They're saying you can't buy this stuff. Folks, we're being conquered and we're being enslaved. And no media is talking about it. And even if you watch like Fox News, like I have to give props to Tucker Carlson because Tucker's like an artist, as somebody, people think sometimes I have high standards. Like, who do you watch? I feel like I'm a critic sometimes. I'm a very nice person. I'm not a hateful person, but I'm just not impressed by that many people, but Tucker Carlson is really good. You look at his segments and he's like, he's someone I watch and I'm like, I wouldn't change a thing about what he just did. He's flowing like Bob Ross. It's like when you see Bob Ross painting, you don't stop Bob Ross painting. It's like he's mountain And then you're just like, damn, that was crazy. That's like Tucker when he's Floyd. Like, I'm like, that guy's got it. But, in general, besides him, there's not that many people in media who are like getting the right angles of this stuff. So it's like left and right arguing over things and wall. And I'm like, yeah, I get it. Build the wall. Yeah, I get it. But at the same time, like what about this? What about like the fact that what's going on in Canada and what's going on in Chile? Like, that's crazy. So, it's worth saying. And that's all I can do. I don't know. I can't control what other people say, but I could just keep saying it and keep commenting places and, I'm just trying to inspire and hopefully like just, show some love where it's like, just cover this, please. Or at least like, if we can get one person or two people, I see stories all the time, like success stories, like, okay, that's good. We're having a little impact. All right. Someone says Tucker doesn't write any of it. Well, whoever's his writer, I don't know. Maybe he has really good writers. Maybe he's one of the co-writers. I don't know. But some of his segments have been spot on. He's as far as mainstream media goes, maybe he doesn't say everything you want him to say, but I think his segments are pretty spot on. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's his ghostwriter. You might be right. Someone said Bob Ross was cool. He was the coolest. And I made a song called Bob Ross, but Bob Ross was actually, I think he was in the Air Force or one of the military branches. And the reason he was so chill is because he was like a top guy who was screaming at everyone all the time. You can look it up in his Wikipedia. He was always screaming. So when he got out of the Air Force or wherever he was like, I'm not going to scream anymore. And that's when he just like grew out his afro, I guess, and started painting. But everyone thinks he's like soft, but that's like, he's like the ultimate hardness where it's like, he's chilling. But I guarantee you, if this pandemic was happening, Bob Ross he'd be painting, but he'd also be like, you guys got to stop bullying my friends. He's that type of person. He's cool, calm and collected, but he's not a pushover. Bob Ross was the badass. He's a tough guy. He just was like, I'm just chilling. Okay. But if you sneak up on Bob Ross, that's where people get it misconstrued. It's like you sneak up on Bob Ross. Yeah, he's chilling, but he also worked in the Air Force. So he's like, I'm chilling for now, but if you make me not chill, like I could see him being like the Wayne Brady, Dave Chappelle skit, where he just turns real quick if he needed to. Someone said he was a drill sergeant. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to misconstrue Bob Ross's history because he's a legend and he doesn't deserve this. But yeah, look at Bob Ross's history. Was it the Air Force or was it some sort of branch? He was a drill sergeant and he's like, I never want to yell again, which just I always love Bob Ross. But when I heard that, I was like, it made me like him times 1,000. I was like, that's amazing. That's such a cool, I knew he was like even cooler than I thought. Yeah, Bob Ross is the best. Shout out Bob Ross. Shame on Mountain Dew for just like reappropriating Bob Ross to drink high fructose corn syrup. That was like, they like used a Bob Ross hologram to do high fructose corn syrup. That was pretty evil. I have a Bob Ross song, but at the same time, I'm not like, I'm dressing up as him semi, but it's me. Like they literally used him as a hologram. Like to me, that's kind of different. I'm just parroting, having fun. They're like pretending to be Bob Ross, being like, drink Mountain Dew. It's like, that's not what Bob Ross would have said. I don't know who signed off on that, but I don't know. Maybe he liked Mountain Dew. I'm guessing not, though. An Army Ranger he was? I don't know. Yeah, I'm screwing this up. I could Google it now, but I don't want to knock my light down, to be quite honest. And I only got like 5 more minutes. I got to go. All right, 5 more minutes. We'll take off. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Someone said I'm painting now, listening, stress reducer. God bless you, Saskia. Paint me something nice. And if you paint something cool, inspired by this stream, man, it must have been we're chilling, we're painting, and then I'm getting hype, and you're like, that's when the mountain gets even crazier. So if you paint something beautiful, send it to me on Instagram at Dream Rare. I would love to see the painting that came out of this stream because I was all over the place. Let's see. God's watching said to know I let you appreciate everything you do. I know you're passionate. I'm doing everything you can. I pray to God you will guide you and recruit more. Or I pray to God will guide you and appreciate you. Sorry, I'm stumbling, but someone said I did the interview with Rebel News, and someone said I look nervous. I mean, not that I really care, but someone said I look nervous. I'm not nervous. I'm kind of tired. My friend came out, and I'm hanging out with him for a few weeks, so I'm gonna work, but I'm also trying to go on a little adventure, take a little stress reliever. But that day I've been doing. I did the Hotep Jesus like 2-hour debate. Then I did this, and I did the interview. I had like 3 videos in a day, so I was just kind of tired. Like I was shooting like 4 hours of videos in a day. I was just like exhausted, but I think I did okay, but that's why I sounded like nervous or something. Lynn said, just sending you a cyber no social distancing hug. You're an inspiration. One love, Lynn. Used to watch Bob Ross every day when he was on television. Thank you, Lynn Winters. Yeah, Bob Ross, he reminds me of like a Buddhist, or like he's got like that Taoist energy, or like a really nice Christian. Like it's like he just flow. It was just so pure. His painting was cool, but what I started really liking about Bob Ross was not just the painting, but his energy is just like, there's nothing else like it. Bob Ross is in his own lane of just like Zen. He's just flowing. I love Bob Ross. I might have to watch a Bob Ross like with the animal on his shoulder. Stop. That's just a good time. Who's mad at that? If you're mad at, if you dislike Bob Ross with an animal on your shoulder, you got some issues. Feel free to thumbs down my video. I don't care. I'm a little bit more controversial or whatever, but you thumbs down Bob Ross. Come on. You're just lying to yourself. Don't be mean. Someone said, hey, Anomaly, they have a surgery that could fix that eye thing. Yeah, I have a question. I mean, I know you're trying to make fun of me or whatever, but I legitimately don't know because I film so much. You have to understand, I do my own lighting. Like, I don't live in a studio, so I do my best. I have a light here, I have a light here, but I understand the lighting's not good. Am I cross-eyed or is my lighting bad? I'm honestly not sure. Part of me thinks it's the lighting and it's making my eyes look funny sometimes. Part of me thinks it's just my eyes and I look that way, but I'm honestly not sure. And I'm not just saying that. You can make fun of my eyes or something, but I'm like, are my eyes that way? Or is it the light just because I have crappy lighting because I do the lighting myself, or I'm like subpar at lighting? We'll find out in the next year if I get better lighting. Someone said it's fine. I was like, no, I know it's fine, but I was thinking that anyway, because I saw people saying comments about my eyes. No, my eyes look like a little kind of together sometimes, or it might be the way I am, but also you have to understand, like, look, I could turn this light off. You can't see my eye. My lighting's like not that good. You feel what I'm saying? It's okay, but it's good enough to be good, but it's not great. Maybe if I had great lighting, it would be different. Maybe not, but we'll figure it out. Someone said they look fine. I'm not worried about it. Like, I'm curious as myself. I actually have to live as myself. I'm like, I don't know if it's lighting or it's just the way my eyes are, but either way, it's not going to bother me. It's like, it is what it is, but all right, one or two more minutes, and then I got to take off. I got my buddy's outside because I said I was streaming. He's staying with me. We're going to have some fun, but someone said I look like Trayvon farting. Is that Trayvon Martin with a fart? That's just disrespectful. Not to me, to Trayvon. No, I'm just kidding. All right, one more and we're going to take off. Someone said maybe it's because you look at screens all day. It could be. I don't know. Let's end on a good comment or something, or question, then we'll take off. Someone said looking at the camera will make you look that way. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know. I mean, it's a weird life. It's not that bad or anything, but I'm staring at like a phone, and then I also have a YouTube thing, so like my life consists of me just staring at things. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe I just need to take a week off and look at the sunset or something, but we'll figure it out. All right, one more thing. Someone said we'll end on this note. I mean, I didn't mean to make it about my eyes, but we'll end on this note. Someone said it doesn't matter what people see. It matters how you see. Are they fine? I actually have, from what I know, I have 20/10 vision from what I was told last time, which is better than 20/20. I've been told by the eye doctor that I'm in the small percentile of like really, really good vision beyond 20/20. So maybe it's like you see an eagle and they got the close eyes, you know what I'm saying? Like, but they got an eagle eye. I have eagle eyes. That's why I have good vision. I have 20/10. So I've heard. So I could see everything. Not everything, but they need to be in that vicinity because I'm scoping from long ranges. So I'm fine as far as I know. So I'm blessed in that category. I appreciate you guys. God bless you. Thank you for being here. I'll have new videos. I got interviews. I mean, I'm interviewing Joshua Dial tomorrow, the libertarian from Tiger King. I don't know if you guys saw Tiger King, but Joe Exotic's campaign manager, Joshua, I got a hold of him and I want to interview him. I was actually, talking to him because they just left these people out to dry with the Tiger King. Like, a lot of these people, like, they got super famous, but there's a pandemic and like a lot of them didn't get any money from the pandemic. So, I've been trying to my boy Josh has been, it's been a wild ride. So we're going to do an interview with him. A lot of stuff coming up, but also I have a good work ethic, so I can't stop, but eventually I might take a couple days break. So if you don't see a video from me in a few days, should be good. I'm probably gonna go on a trip and relax for a few days. I mean, I have a good life. I can't complain. It's not like I'm like sitting here crying all the time. I'm very grateful, and I work so hard because I enjoy it. I'm annoyed at what they're doing, so I want to work extra hard. And also I've worked harder jobs, so I feel like when I'm not doing anything, I just default on working because it's enjoyable and it's fun. But yeah, I need to take a break, and I usually go on cruises or something, but you know what happened with that. They shut down the cruise lines. You get it. I might take a little break here, but shirts and hats and all that are coming. I got a customer service guy. You should get all that stuff. Should be nice, should be clean, crisp. I'm going to get it too. Dreamrare.com. If you didn't get a hat or a beanie, you can get one. Dreamrare.com, like my Instagram. And if you did, it's coming soon. Just look for an email later this week with a tracking order, and you should get a tracking order. It should be pretty straightforward. So appreciate you guys. God bless you. Have a beautiful day. I'll be back, and stay calm, stay happy. Don't let people bully you. Just don't do that. It really ticks me off watching people bully other people and like them caving or them, like not knowing what to do. It's like, just feel free to say no. And once we hit critical mass of so many people saying no, it'll be okay. And in America, it seems like we're ahead of the curve with Texas and Florida and stuff opening. So, I feel good about it. I don't know how you guys feel. God bless you. And hopefully other people were painting cool stuff like that one chick. She said she was painting. Send me that painting on Instagram. It sounds fun. All right. God bless you guys. I'll be back soon.